Your Country 1039 KGRT. Gino Aragon here with you in studio. And of course, your morning show is brought to you by Saenz and Smith Real Estate Company. And we have got Mark with us today from Saenz and Smith. How are you doing today, Mark?
Good morning, Gino. I'm doing really, really, really great this morning.
Okay.
I'm an associate broker. I joined the team about 6 months ago, and that's about as long as I've been licensed as well. I took the test 6 months ago, and I interviewed with Saenz and Smith, and I immediately knew they had the culture that I wanted to be a part of. So I'm happy to be part of this exciting team.
Absolutely. We've talked about the family that is Saenz and Smith, and they are actually pretty much a real family. It's really cool to talk with any of those guys right there. And you actually brought in a guest with you today. Go ahead and introduce her.
I did. I'll let her introduce herself properly.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Mark. My name is Athena Huckabee. I am one of the co-founders of the Greta Huckabee Low Barrier Housing Fund.
Okay. What exactly is that? What is it that they do?
Sure. So the reason that we have low barrier in the name is because we want it to be easy for people to access our fund. I think anybody who's tried to find housing knows what a long process it is.
Yeah.
We try to have a very minimal amount of paperwork, if any, and our fund provides support to people who are experiencing a substance use disorder. So somebody that has a problem with alcohol, and or drugs currently, or somebody who's had a problem in the past. So somebody who's in recovery. So we support those folks. Somebody told me that they think of it as like our fund as like gap insurance. Like if you've got, so maybe you're on the street, but you're interested in making some kind of a positive change and you want to try to get into housing. So we can help while you try to find more sustainable housing. Or maybe you just got out of like a sober living place and you want to get your own apartment, but you don't have the money for the deposit. Or maybe you realize that you need to go into sober living and you don't have money for the deposit. We can help in instances like that.
Okay. So there's a whole variety of different scenarios that you guys can actually help out at different stages and everything else right there. And it's really interesting because your environment, what you have, at the end of the day where you lay your head, will make a major difference on that recovery and on the continuing recovery for those that are going through that.
Yeah, I'm very harm reduction minded. So harm reduction is sort of the idea that any positive change that people want to make is valuable. I'm not about perfection, but I'm definitely willing to help people if they want to try to make a lifestyle change. So, yeah, and that could be any number of things, right?
If they wanted to get more information about what you do, or maybe even take part in the program, how would they go about and do that?
Yeah, so I think the important thing I need to mention is that our fund is through the Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico. So they can go to the Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico's website. There's information there on our fund and also on how to donate. We also have a Facebook page. It's called it's Greta Huckabee Low Barrier Fund. You can just search for Huckabee. There's not a lot of Huckabees in the area. I'm a co-founder of the fund. So the other founder, her name is Roxy Grajeda. She's also based here locally and has been working in the community for a long time. So it's just both of our names together. Maybe we need to think of something more catchy.
No, I think once you get it, you're going to remember that because of its uniqueness. I'll put it that way. There, yeah.
People that I help with the fund are always asking me how they can donate back to the fund. Like people are really interested in that money getting back to us. And what I always say is that I'd rather that they pay it forward, and help somebody else who's in need somewhere down the road. Because if they get their life together, they're going to be in a position to do that for someone.
That is a good way of putting it. But if anybody were interested in donating or trying to help out that fund, how would they go about doing that as well?
Absolutely. So, and for people curious, the website for the Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico is really easy. It's Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico.com. And so they can, or is it .org? Let me just take a look, but it's one of those. I was
going to say they were very creative in their name.
Yeah, exactly. It's very easy to Google, so it's no problem to find it.
Yeah, you go.
So because it's through the community foundation, the community foundation is a 501c3 umbrella. So what that means is that rather than the fund being its own 501c3, we're a fund that's held under the community foundation.
Okay.
So that means that you can make a donation at the website. They have a very clear donation link at the top. Donate to a fund. You just scroll down till you see our fund and click donate. And then the other nice thing is that it's tax deductible. So, you get a charitable contribution credit. You can write it off on your taxes. So it's very legit and on the up and up, which is nice for people. You're not just contributing to some GoFundMe or something.
Yeah, it's an official program, an official fund right there that helps out a lot of people. Mark, with Saenz and Smith, how did you and Athena hook up there?
Well, I
Lean in just a little bit. There you go.
Well, I know Athena just through some mutual friends. And as you know, I think as a community, we're all affected by substance abuse. We see homelessness, we see some crime, we see different things. And us at Saenz and Smith, when this came up, that I was going to do a radio spot with you, I thought about Athena's
Foundation, what she does. Yeah.
I thought about what she does and how that can fit with our culture of being family, and anytime that maybe we could reach out and help somebody, we want to be a part of something like that as well. So so just mutual friendship,
That is awesome. That is something really, like I mentioned before, how Saenz and Smith is really part of the community and as a family. And this is just another example of that.
No, and I mean, I think one of the things that I want to point out is that one of the things that encouraged me to start this fund is that I'm a person in recovery from drugs and alcohol myself, and I think so much of the time, like as Mark was talking about with family, right? We want other people with substance use disorders, right? They're the guy under the bridge, we never think of it as us, right? And certainly when I was coming to grips with the fact that I have a problem with alcohol, that was really difficult for me. Like I was a young woman in my 20s. I had a good haircut. I had a good job. I didn't think that this was something that could be impacting me. And so, just thinking about substance use problems, it's not those people, right? It's us, and it's our aunties and our moms and our dads and our brothers and sisters. And, like Mark and I are brothers and sisters in community as well. So I think it really fits into this idea of community as family, right? And that we all want to lift each other up and help one another.
Now, like I said, even your environment, your room that you sleep in can make a big difference on how you feel and how you're able to continue with that.
That's actually, you had said that earlier, and what it reminded me about was how hard it is for people to make a change if they're on the streets. Especially I work with a lot of women. And women especially have talked to me about, for example, utilizing crystal meth so that they don't fall asleep, so that they don't have to worry as much about being sexually assaulted, right? If you're a woman sleeping alone on the street, being raped or sexually assaulted is a constant thing that you have to worry about. So people will use drugs or alcohol to cope. Unless they have a safe place to lay their head, it can be really hard for people to try to come off substances at that time, if that's something they wish to do,
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it makes a major difference with that. But once again, to go ahead and if you needed some help or if you wanted to donate, they would go to the website, the community. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico is where you would go to donate. If you want to get a hold of us and you need some help for a loved one or for yourself, you can reach out to us at gh.housing.fund@gmail.com. So one more time. So just like Greta Huckabee, right? It's G as in George, H as in Henry, housing.fund@gmail.com.
There you go. See, that one's going to be easier to remember. And Mark, of course, if anybody had any questions just in general for Saenz and Smith or needed some real estate questions, how would they get a hold of you guys?
It's very easy to get a hold of me. My mobile phone number is 575-725-1467. And I wanted to mention this earlier, and that's what kind of threw me off is I too 6 years ago found myself in recovery. I had to make some life decisions. I ended up in rehab, and I needed a safe place to go after 28 days. And this was in Carlsbad. And I just happened to come across a foundation there that helped me get that gap into sober living and gave me a safe place to get back on my feet and start doing things. So I was able to become a productive member of society again, and again get my real estate license and start here in Las Cruces. And it changed my life. And when I had an opportunity to do something a little bit different for Saenz and Smith, that's when I thought of my friend in recovery here, Athena, and I thought that our family concept at Saenz and Smith would fit well with that model of just trying to help somebody.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and it does, it really does. Well, thanks a lot for coming in, guys, and letting us know about that. Now that I'm aware of that foundation, I can let others know about it as well, and spread the word about some of the work that you are doing. So thanks a lot for coming in, guys. I really appreciate that.
Thanks for having us.